like how we have money for endless wars and to bail out corporations and give tax breaks to the top 1%? Why Democrats lose elections. Clyburn admits paycheck guarantee, best way to save jobs, but says it costs too much. Oh, no. You mean we don't have money to help out the people? My goodness. So Representative Jim Clyburn, the third-ranking Democrat in the House, admitted this week that Representative Jay Paul's paycheck guarantee proposal would be the most efficient way to stem mass layoffs. Wouldn't that be great? But said that the plan was left out of the HEROES Act, because it would be too expensive. You got to worry about those names. Clyburn was not asked to explain why the HEROES Act was able to accommodate other expensive provisions like tax cuts for wealthy Americans or massive subsidies for private industry. Because remember, Washington, D.C., Democrats and Republicans, they have to look out for their number one constituents. Big banks, Wall Street executives, corporations, the top 1%. You, the average voter, are not considered number one on their list. Going further into this, I like the bill. I like her bill myself. The South Carolina Democrat said of Jay Paul's Paycheck Guarantee Act in an interview on MSNBC Wednesday, the proposed legislation would use federal dollars to cover 100% of worker benefits and salaries up to $100,000 for 3 months. Paycheck guarantee is great, Clyburn continued. I think it's doing it this way is an efficient way to do it. In fact, I think it's the most efficient way to do it. But we have to pay for all these things. No, duh, we do. We have to pay for all these things? How are we going to pay for all these massive corporations and these tax cuts? How are we paying for it? We can't take care of our people? Democrats? You wonder why you lose elections? You wonder why you're so incompetent and no one respects you anymore? Hey, Bernie, this is your party that's somehow going to beat Trump. Hey, Bernie Sanders, you might want talking to the people in the House, but no, you're not going to do that. No one's going to do that. And this is why the Democrats lose time and time again. And look, Trump, he is what he is. But at the end of the day, when it came down to that relief package, at least he gave the Americans $1,200. It's not much, but it's probably the most we'll ever get from his administration. Obama and his administration could have done a lot more for us, but they didn't do it. They bailed out the corporations. So again, they keep on losing time and time again. Now we got Nancy Pelosi just farting around the entire Washington, D.C., basically saying, oh, I got the HEROES Act, and it's all going to be okay. That's not the truth at all. We're still getting screwed over. The corporations are getting bailed out again and again and again. And I don't know how this whole entire crisis is going to work out with COVID-19 and its economic depression that we're in, but the American people are left holding the bag. What's the solution? We strike because we don't owe these politicians a goddamn thing. And you know what? They have to earn our vote. They have to convince us why we should support them. And Clyburn makes the case perfect for Democrats. They're just destined to lose because maybe they just don't give a damn. Guys, take it away.
Yeah, so this is, again, what we're dealing with when we talk about the Democrats and everything we do. So, by the way, I want everyone to know that if you took all the corporate bailout money that we had the money for, apparently, it would break down to about $20,000 per American citizen, which, if I'm not mistaken, that could be the 20 months of $1,000 a month paycheck for every single American.
How are we going to pay for it?
Including infants. So the real thing is, that's the same thing that it always is when it comes to bailing out the rich, the powerful, the corporation, we have all the money in the world that could be. When we need to bomb someone through their chimney, we have all the money that we could possibly need. But when you want to help regular people who aren't top-tier contributors, how are you going to pay for it? And here's the sad thing. I don't know a single Democrat that will ever go on TV and say what I just said. I'm saying it pretty tame, I think. But I've never seen a Democrat go on TV and when they're asked that question, they go, you know goddamn well that the only reason that you're asking that question is because they're poor people, and you never ask that question to the wealthy. No one brings that up. No one talks about it. No one acts like that's the game. That the game is that the people with the money, if you don't give $2,800, $2,700 a cycle, you don't matter. Now, here's a great irony. So we know that like Hong Kong is like protesting and stuff. Well, they were. I mean, it's stuff's happening right now. But when they were originally protesting, they were protesting because they perceived that an elected thing with China was taking away the ability for the majority to determine politics. Now, here's the great irony in that: Hong Kong was, and this is before even the one that we were dealing with before the pandemic happened. Hong Kong was originally protesting because it was, I forget the exact ratio, but it was like they were making a board that it was the equivalent of like 0.2 or 3 or 4% of people in Hong Kong that were really in charge of Hong Kong. The great irony is in America, it's under 0.2%. Those are the people that give that $2,700 max check. So, as a reminder, Hong Kong literally almost burned the city to the ground because they had more equitable representation than Americans do.
Yeah, crazy world we're living in. John, what's the final note?
Yeah, I mean, they're excited to do this. They're excited to not give you the help. They're excited to create a new slave class. And that's what's going to happen. Like the ultra rich will, who owns the factories? Who owns the equipment? I'm a mechanic, and I don't have the money to buy a lift and do the things, like that I need to get the things I need to get my own shop off the ground. I have to work for an employer. And things like this, instead of helping us out, helping us stay safe, helping us, make sure we have food on the table and things like that through this. Because like, if you want to talk about like, oh, it's going to create inflation and things like that, it still is. Like it's, guys, like MMT, I get what you're saying. Like whichever way you want to argue it, we could get this money. They don't want to give it to us because it's class warfare. They want slavery. They absolutely need you dependent on that 9 to 5 at McDonald's or Costco, Albertsons, whatever. They need you there. And so, no, it's absolutely absurd that I don't know. I would almost put money that the $2,000 thing's never going to happen. Like you can see AOC and everybody rally behind it and say, oh yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to just really, no, never going to happen. Never going to happen. And it's like, I'm getting, more and more on board with the Jimmy Dore, Dylan Radigan thing of it's kabuki theater. That's all it is.
It is. And I think just one other comment too. So look, we got to fight for getting Medicare for all and UBI and debt forgiveness. And the only way we're going to do it is not by hoping for a hero, a knight on the shining hill in Washington, D.C. No, that area is a goddamn swamp. The real heroes, the real people that are going to institute change are you guys watching. Our viewers and subscribers and everyone in this country. We have to step up. And that means doing a true national shutdown. Not because Washington, D.C. gave an order or our state governments gave an order. No, we strike, we walk off the jobs. I know it's a monumental task. It's asking a lot of people to make a sacrifice. But at this point, we're all being sacrificed because the government isn't bailing us out. It's going to get worse. And the only way right now we make those bastards listen to us, if we truly make them afraid of us, that we don't go back to that same neoliberal smoke and mirrors. We don't owe them a goddamn thing. They dance and drink because they believe we are weak. And we are not weak. We are American citizens, and we deserve so much more. Let's shut this system down. Let's do a real national strike. It's a monumental task, but we shouldn't be afraid of it. We should embrace it because these politicians have proven to all of us we don't owe them a goddamn thing. We never did, and we never will because they are public servants. I think we need to remind them of that.